Alrighty, it's time for a review. Day 3, just my thoughts. It's not going to be much today, because really nothing much has changed. But as I do a review and share my thoughts for every day of a playthrough, I felt I should and I must. I must. Alright, so the main thoughts is, so we got to try more V out today, Nero, and then Dante. And I can say that Dante feels the clunkiest out of the three. Not Dante, Nero. Golly. Nero feels the clunkiest out of the three because, you know, like the whole fist stuff and all the different types of fists and everything, it's just not, he's not as mobile, I'm finding, as like the rest of them are. Like, I mean, by far the easiest is V. If you want an easy chance at just destroying the game and doing a thing, play as freaking V, and you could demolish everything. But the other downside is, as of right now, you can't choose who you play as on each mission. So it's, you know, kind of choosing for me. And then the one time it let me choose, it was more of a who do you want to play first than it was a who do you want to play through it as. And I can understand how it is with storyline and everything. It's kind of unfolding over time. And if a person just didn't happen to be there, they weren't there, you know, so I can understand that. So V, though, definitely the easiest. Like, anytime I play through as him, I'm getting tons of the blood orbs, you know, because it's just so much easier. Dante's second easiest for sure, maybe almost tied. And once I get more upgrades for him, maybe almost tied. And then my least favorite is Nero. He's got definitely the most varying abilities, I guess, in some ways, with all the different fists and everything. But Dante does have quite a range. I mean, you can be able to use different types of swords or the fists, then you can be able to use different types of guns and everything, and they're all doing different things, you know, basically like the normal, you know, more akin to what the original Devil May Cry was, from what I could remember, you know, which is kind of nice. But I'm guessing that when I beat the game, I could play through it as whoever I want, I'm guessing, and, you know, unlock the rest of the stuff. Oh, I totally realized I didn't, you know, I wasn't in this screen. Normally, I'm in this screen. So, chat if you want. Feel free to share your thoughts on the game and the fighting. And weigh in if you want to. But yeah, so the different, the combat styles are cool. But I'm starting to wonder, like, you know, why have this disconnect with all three of these different characters? You know, why not in a way have the game play through as you could play each individually? Like, it just seems so split up, and it is nice that it kind of ties it together in a way, with a story, how, like, they're kind of all slowly meeting up and joining up and stuff. And then, you know, going back in time, figuring out how all this started and everything, and how we've gotten to where we are. But it is kind of very disconnected. It is kind of, you know, it's like they keep on splitting up, but why? Like, they walk into a room and then V walks out for some reason. I guess we're going to find out eventually, you know. So I'm thinking that the story's a little bit, like, lacking, you know, and kind of taking away from the variance of the characters and the fighting and everything, you know. So it's like kind of like the game gets a little bit more boring when I'm playing as Nero because I like his fighting style less, but I have to play as him to continue playing the game, you know. So it can, if, you know, if you're one of the people that like certain styles of fighting in games and, you know, maybe you don't like one of the characters, it can ruin the momentum in a way of the game. But I don't think it really ruins the game, per se. I'm pretty sure I'm only halfway done. I'm on mission 11 now. And I think there's only 21 missions. So I'm pretty sure if I took, like, one day, like 5 hours, I could probably get through the rest of the game. So it's definitely not, like, a long game, I think. But we'll see. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe some of those missions are crazy long or something. Then other than that, the only other thing I could think of today that really stuck in my mind was the movement in the game. So as V, if you get the extra speed boost, he kind of does this like ice skating thing on like the demonic goo or whatever it is, you know, and it kind of like makes it hard, like, because he goes further after you stop, you know? So it kind of makes it hard when there's edges around and you don't want to maybe progress to the next area, because then all of a sudden you're sliding almost over the edge and everything. You know, that gets a little bit annoying. And then with Dante, there was a jump kind of puzzle moment. And, like, all the corridors in this game are so small, and the speed at which the camera moves and stuff is just a little bit, like, delayed from, like, when you hit left and it starts moving left and stuff. It's just, like, a little bit wonky. And then with the moving being that kind of, like, delayed movement, you hit a direction and it takes a second because your character needs to turn or something, you know, so it kind of delays the movement and then moves past what you've held on the joystick, you know, because visually the character hasn't finished stepping yet and stuff. It kind of makes things like those jump puzzles and everything a little bit wonky. So when I experienced those moments, it did kind of stick in my head and was like, it's a little bit, you know. But I still don't think it's necessarily ruining my desire to play the game at all. So I don't think it really takes away from that at all. You know, and other than that, for day 3, not really anything else that I can think of right now that is really sticking out to me. It is nice, though, still with the blood orbs, getting a ton of them whenever I play as V, and it is allowing me to upgrade a lot of things for the other characters. I mean, being halfway through the game, I do have quite a few of the abilities unlocked. You know, if I, you know, had the 100,000 you get for getting the deluxe edition physical version, which for some reason I didn't get from getting the digital version, which I don't understand. You know, but if I had that, it would have definitely, I think, made the game a lot easier, you know, but not by much. I mean, a lot of these, the higher value abilities and stuff are like 40,000, 20,000 and stuff. So, I mean, really, what would that got me? Like a fewer of the higher abilities, maybe, you know, 120k each of the 3 characters, or 30k each, you know. So it's really not gonna, I think, make or break the game, but it'll get you those lower ability, you know, cost, you know, stuff. So it would make definitely the experience of the game, I think, a lot different if you had the 100,000 from the get-go, because you'd have all the lower cost abilities. And, you know, really what you can do without having abilities is very, very small. You know, still with Nero, the reason why I think I like him least is because all of his abilities have like a hold forward and this button, hold button and this, and then press twice and then once, and then press once and then twice and then repeatedly. You know, it's like all the different, you know, button orders are just a lot harder with him. Whereas with Dante, he does have some things that are kind of like hitting this order and stuff, but it's not as complicated. You know, he's gotten more basic abilities he can do, and I'm guessing as he unlocks more swords and stuff, there would be more abilities for each individual sword or whatnot, you know, or gun or whatnot. So, you know, there's definitely more things to experience there, but he's definitely less varied as Nero is, you know. So it's like I kind of more leaning towards Dante. Like, I don't like with fighting games back in the day, I liked Mortal Kombat, like the basics, you know. I didn't like when, like, it started turning into, you know, like, let's say Smash Brothers or Marvel vs. Capcom, and, you know, stuff where you're doing like a half turn and then this button order pressing and stuff. It's like, I always found those things to be very wonky. I didn't understand the timing of the button presses, you know, and then doing that all while you're trying to not get hit by things and stuff. I never fully enjoyed that as much. I mean, I don't feel like it shouldn't be in games, but it just was always something that I felt was kind of lacking in fighting games. You know, I like more of a, like, I like Spider-Man. The Spider-Man on PS4, I think that's like one of my favorite fightings in a game. You know, let me dodge anything and everything. You know, as long as I'm skillfully pressing the button, you know, cool. You know, I make the fighting feel smooth. Like, I liked God of War. I used to like Assassin's Creed back in the day. I felt it was a lot more smooth than the newer ones are, you know, especially since the newer ones are much more grindy and stuff, you know. But whereas with this, you know, as you're getting more and more abilities, it's definitely feeling more smooth. But for sure with Nero and stuff, I'm like, nah, when I'm playing as him, like, fighting feels a little more clunky. And even with Dante a little bit, the fighting feels a little more clunky because sometimes you're having to run at the enemy, and so far I haven't unlocked any type of peel at the enemy, like any type of like jump and stuff, you know, to get to it faster, so the fighting feels like it's happening like continuously, you know. It's like, why get that lull moment where it's like you gotta stop and now you're running over to him, and you know, it's like, nah, it's like a moment where I'm like, nah. But yeah, so all that stuff aside, though, none of it is, I feel, game breaking to me. I think this game is a pretty good game so far. I still don't like the Resident Evil engine where just like all the demon areas just looks like just a melding of blackness. It's just goo, and you know, here's a little bit of glowing, but it's not really textured in there. It's like, it's not very high definition in my opinion. When you start running and you get the speed boost to running, it blurs everything on the screen, and I'm kind of like, it takes away from the world around you, especially since you're looking for spots where there might be a hidden item and stuff, you know. So stuff like that, you know, it's slowly making me feel like the game's not worth $60, it's not worth $70. That's more of like a $40 title, I think would be a very fair price for what I've experienced so far, especially with the visuals and everything. You know, and this is on PS4 Pro, so it's like I'm seeing the best of what, you know, the second best console out there. I'm sure if I was playing on PC, maybe it's outputting a little bit better, but I don't think there's much higher for it to necessarily go. I don't think those textures are all of a sudden going to make more sense. You know, it's kind of like they just take like a glowing tentacle and just spray black on it everywhere, and then make some parts of it look like a stone black, or have like a almost like an oilish kind of, you know, multicolored hue to it or something. Like, it's not, for me, it's just not for me. Like, I just don't like it. I didn't like it in Resident Evil 7. You know, when these kind of just goo monsters come out that have, like, teeth somewhere. Like, I'd rather it make sense. Like, I'd rather the monster make sense and not be like it's been pieces glued together by tar. You know, give it, like, some skin, like, leather-looking skin or something. You know, like, I don't know. I think, like, this day and age for a $60 title, $70 title, you know, I just expect a little bit more than that. But you know, it's running good. It is definitely running good, and I don't seem to be losing frames and stuff. All right, though, so that's day 3 of the review of Resident Evil. See, it's like I'm thinking about the engine in my head. Devil May Cry 5. Golly gosh, it's a good game. Yeah, everything I'm saying though, it's a good game. You know, just because I think it might be more worth 40 than 60 is not meaning I'm saying don't buy it for 60. It's not meaning that's my opinion. If you still buy it for 60, I think you'll be relatively happy with the game. You know, but I'm just saying, like, I think you'd be really happy if you got it for 40. Just, that's my opinion. That you'd be like, you know, this solid 40. You know, 60, it's like, okay. You know, if you had the extra 20 bucks, okay. But a solid 40, I think. Solid. I mean, there's a lot in the game. Just, you know, once you're in those demon worlds, it's kind of like, what happened here? But alright, though. That's my review. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, comment, follow, and subscribe if you want to help support the channel. I stream Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We do playthroughs, and then we do reviews at the end of every day of doing playthrough. If I'm doing playthrough that day, I also do multiplayer games and a whole bunch of other games. Whatever really just feels fun for the day. It's more of a hangout on channel, you know, if you want to come by and join. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Like, comment, subscribe, and follow if you dare.